Welcome to Two Therapists Talking. The hope for this podcast is to talk about important issues related to couples and individuals who are struggling in their lives with many different issues. I'm David Thompson, a marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Sherie Christensen, marriage and family therapist. Please join us as we explore these issues together, and we hope you will learn and be enlightened along the way. Come find us at twotherapisttalking.com. If you like what you're hearing, please get on and rate us and subscribe to the podcast.
Hi, and welcome back to Two Therapists Talking. I'm David.
And I'm Sherie.
And we are continuing to talk about the Patrick Carnes CSAT task model or recovery roadmap. And we should have done these episodes sooner because we follow this model, and a lot of people I know for me are reaching out because I'm a CSAT. And so we should have outlined these a long time ago. I think it'd be helpful.
Everything's important. That's the problem.
It's true. And we feel that way, right?
Yeah.
So this is really helpful. We've done the episode prior to this one. There are 8 tasks for the person in recovery. And we did the first 4 in the last episode.
Yeah.
And
let's go through those really quick just to kind of refresh your memory, and then we'll do the last 4. So our first task is to break through denial and stabilize.
Our second task is to understand the addiction system.
Our task 3 is to build a recovery program.
And finally, task 4 was the 3 circles boundaries.
So if you remember those, if those are kind of fresh in your mind, great. If you want to go back to that episode and re-listen and get kind of caught up on things, great.
So those are the first 4 tasks from the last episode. That'll be helpful for review if you're taking notes. And now we want to cover the next 4 and then finish up with just some success markers or ways to know that you're following the program, and a way to say, is it working?
Right.
Am I making progress? So task 5 is rigorous honesty and therapeutic disclosure when appropriate.
Ooh, when does when appropriate mean?
That's a good question. And I get this question a lot of times. Some kind of disclosure is always required, I think. It just how you do it and how much you cover. And if you've listened to our podcast, you know that we like to incorporate a lie detector test.
Yeah, if you are doing a full therapeutic disclosure.
Yep. And so that may or may not always be part of disclosure, but disclosure where you are sharing, even if they know most of it, it's really good ownership and accountability to cover it again in a more structured format of here it all is, and I'm going to give it all at once.
Yeah. It's kind of a space of kind of rebuilding that trust, right?
Yeah.
It's the responsibility of the person who broke the trust, and so saying, hey, I'm going to be rigorously honest, right? And put it all out here. That helps that process of disclosure, that process of trust building. It's like, okay, I now know that I'm not missing anything. And I know that because you're being rigorously honest and doing this therapeutic disclosure. And also there's a lie detector that's verifying that, especially if there hasn't been honesty in the past.
Yep.
So when would you say that you wouldn't do a therapeutic disclosure?
I almost would say there isn't ever a time you wouldn't do. It's just what it looks like.
Yeah.
And so if sometimes couples come in, rarely, I love it, but it's rare, that there's been honesty from the very beginning, and they've been able to focus just on overcoming the addiction.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been trust issues because maybe even dating, they were sharing.
Yeah.
And so it's just always been, I know where we're at. Do you believe you know? Do you trust that you know? Yeah, I do. Okay, great. In that case, it wouldn't need to be, an official kind of, now we're going to go through it all. But that's rare. I would say you want to default to doing some form of disclosure, again, for no other reason than to help the person struggling in addiction to break through denial and just fully accept this is my new way of being
Yes.
in this relationship with accountability and responsibility and total honesty, like
Yeah.
all in, committed, and
Making sure that you're not forgetting anything, because
yep,
good heavens, as you go through this process, that can be easy to do, especially if you're trying kind of piecemeal to be
Right.
honest and go, oh yeah, well, there's this thing. Oh, okay, yeah, there's,
that trickle
what
truth.
have I shared, what haven't I? And that trickle truth is really hard for a partner to hear
Yeah,
and to get over and over and over again. And so being able to just put it all in one place helps the partner, but also really helps, like, okay, I'm going to go through this systematically. Regardless of whether or not I think I've shared it before, it's going on the paper and we're going to go through it. So we just make sure.
yeah. And I would say do this with a therapist.
Yes, therapeutic disclosure.
Therapeutic.
Please.
There's a surprisingly lot of detail that's not going to be helpful. And if you
Right.
don't have help, then what tends to happen is, the person betrayed naturally wants everything.
Yeah.
And often like everything, but it's a lot of stuff that's going to end up being very triggering and very hard not to take more personally.
Yeah.
And so
And
just
not useful for
Yeah.
the healing process.
exactly not necessary for us to be able to move on. So
So make sure you're doing that with a therapist, and at least, I think both of us kind of follow that. If you're doing a therapeutic disclosure, we're doing a lie detect with it, because that's just helps with the verification. It helps with the trust. It helps like everyone just be on the same page. Like,
Yep.
this is where we're starting from. I think nearly every time I haven't required that, it's not been a good situation.
right. Yep.
So it's just kind of a requirement for me anyway.
Yeah,
That's just what you do. It's just a part of the process.
definitely. And you also want to create a transparency plan and a safety plan. The transparency is like, okay, now there's a turning point, hopefully, with disclosure. Now, how do we
And
maintain this transparency?
Yeah.
So, daily check ins, what are we reporting? What's going to help us? And we've talked a lot about this as well. I love Thanos as daily check in. Sobriety is part of that. But a safety plan, think 3 circles. We talked about this in the last episode. So what devices, their schedule, finances, check-ins, what do we need to be talking about and reporting on just to keep everything transparent? And how do we build it into a system or a routine that we follow?
Right. And I like that we're talking about schedule, we're talking about devices, we're talking about finances, we're talking about check-ins or trust discussions. That's kind of the way that we phrase that, and put that together. But it isn't always just like a device or
Right.
just a schedule, right? A lot of times finances are involved. A lot of times some of these other things are involved. So making sure that as you're looking through those things and looking at your disclosure, you're saying, okay, that's the other great thing about that disclosure is it really gives you all the information in one place to say, okay, these are the areas that I need that help and that support.
Yeah. Yep.
These are the areas that I need to make sure that I'm rigorously honest about moving forward. Places that I could get a little bit tripped up and might want to just kind of, oh yeah, well, we just won't mention that we spent money on that or whatever. So it just gives you a really good solid place to create your transparency and safety plan.
Yep.
So that's task number 5. Task number 6 is restitution and relational repair.
Ooh, yep.
This is a big one.
It
And
is a
it's-
big one.
And it's really important. And I think a lot of times our tendency can be to want to just like, okay, yep, we just said all the things.
Yep.
We've been honest
said
about
sorry
it all.
and-
Yeah. sorry that happened. Let's move on. And especially with bigger things, there's more to do than just the sorry.
Yep. And keep in mind, we're talking about these steps kind of like you would check boxes. Mm-hmm. The reality is you're going to be starting all of these things and then consistently following through for a very long time. So it's not, I mean,
Right.
you could check a box, I suppose, that says you've started.
Yeah.
It won't be, I've also finished. It's just a starting checkbox.
Yes.
All of this stuff needs to be ongoing.
Right. Right. So, for example, amends that you're making, they're specific
Yeah.
and ongoing, and you're being consistent
Yep.
with the things that you say that you will do.
Yep. And when it comes to recovery, no more over-promising, under-delivering. It's okay to say, hey, I'm working on this. I want this. I'm doing my best. And then total honesty when you stumble and fall. Mm-hmm. Don't overpromise. Again, this is like we're trying to finish. We're not trying to win.
Right.
If you think of like a race. And so we want to be building routines and dailies that help us to accomplish this. And we know it's going to be a long process.
Yeah.
So consistency.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the things that are related to those amends are going to be that trust building.
Yeah.
So being really specific, continuing to build that trust again and again and again, right, is going to be really important. Being open to sharing information, being open to, and not getting defensive and things like that are all going to be really important in rebuilding trust, especially when you've used tactics like not sharing or being defensive in the past, in order to kind of avoid sharing, avoid having to be fully honest about what's going on. Those will be really, really critically important.
So be patient. And this is where you really fine-tune your empathy skills, which we have talked possibly ad nauseum about. So if you have any doubts about empathy and how to build empathy, and definitely look up the episode titles that we have. But this is where it really shines as you move toward reconciliation and healing. Mm-hmm. And
amends. Like, these are all super important pieces. And we also want to move toward mutual and consensual and connected sexuality.
right.
So this isn't something we jump into right at the beginning.
No.
And if there's a break from that, or if that's like a less frequent thing that's happening, that's okay. Because we need to build some of these trust structures and things like that. But it's definitely a really important part of healing and moving forward.
Yep.
So, and I think we could probably spend a couple of episodes just on what that is and what that looks like. Mm-hmm. But understanding that it's mutual, consensual, and connected is a good start.
Yeah. Yep. The next task, number 7, is trauma and shame resolution and working towards a more secure attachment.
Yes.
And again, you check a box to start.
Right.
This is a process.
For sure.
Any recovery needs to be addressing how we got here, how it's connected to our life histories, and trauma shame work becomes pretty vital, but only after stabilization. Or in other words, we have a plan in place. There's consistency in following it. We're beginning to establish good sobriety. Mm-hmm. We're kind of free now to look at some of the things that brought us here.
Right. If you don't have that stable spot, then addressing this won't be useful. You have to have kind of that foundational work. And then you can kind of move into some of these deeper things. And you're going to want that.
Yeah.
Because as you start working on trauma stuff, there's a lot that can come up.
Yep.
And if you don't have a plan in place and you don't have structure in place and you're not being really honest, right? It's just going to like kick even more stuff up.
Yep.
So making sure you have that foundation, and then you may have some ideas about where this came from and originated earlier on, but really getting into that and doing some of that work, it can be important to have basic foundation.
Yep.
Also, that basic foundation is good for your relationship as well, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have some of that, breaking through denial and building your program and all of that, it can end up feeling like, oh, we're just moving into excuses over here with like, oh, it's just my trauma and, all of that, instead of saying, okay, we've got a foundation. I'm owning my stuff and I'm working on it. And then as part of that working on it, we're looking at where things originated.
Yeah.
So, and shame resolution is a huge, huge piece that's really important.
Yeah. We can't overstate the importance of shame resolution in all of this. And, part of becoming more secure in your attachment means more vulnerability, more repair, tolerating emotion without reacting to it. Mm-hmm. All of these things, as you feel safer, more secure, you're doing lots of other tools, because these are steps, broad steps, but lots of interventions, lots of tools to help you to get there.
Right.
But we would expect to see the ability to be vulnerable and repair and take ownership and regulate. So when you were triggered, when you were tempted, what did you do? What were you feeling? How did you handle it? Mm-hmm. And that comes as you feel more securely attached.
Yeah. Yes. So again, this is a big overview.
Yeah.
Huge overview piece. I feel like that we're saying, oh, this very general thing,
Yeah, here
but
you go.
there's
Just do
so
this.
many pieces of that. And all of that's going to help that relational repair in task 6, right? These more vulnerable, more connected, more secure, attached things that you're going to do. All of those things feed right into that relational building and repair as well. I think that's one thing that I hear spouses say over and over again is that vulnerability, and that ability to have the empathy and tolerating emotion and all of that is actually a huge turn on, and it's a huge part of like relational connection. Mm-hmm. So It's wonderful because it's fantastic for the addict, right? To have that in their life, to be able to work through that, to not have shame around, various aspects of their life, including the addiction, to be able to work through the past trauma that's led them to where they are now. Huge benefits for the individual, but it also has a lot of benefits for the relationship as well.
Yep.
So task 8 then is maintenance and growth. So you're going to continue with all of these tasks, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And continuing to this program of having community and having your routines and providing service within your groups, as well as outside and in your family relationships, right? Mentorship, where you're in a really solid place, and so you can give back and help others along that path to their recovery.
Yep. And you also want to regularly review the circles we've talked about, triggers, boundaries, look at your relapse prevention plan. All of this, there's so many drafts. When you start, you have an idea of what this is going to look like and how it's going to go and what you imagine will be challenging. And even if you're right, it's going to change over time if you're doing it well and improving. And so
Right.
you move items around, your boundaries, get narrower. All of this, it's an ongoing process. So you should be in maintenance and growth, making changes and continuing to monitor as you go. So,
Right. Your triggers are going to change.
yep.
They're going to be hopefully less intense in these areas that seemed like, oh my goodness, if this ever happens, I'm gone, right?
Yep.
Those are going to change. And then you're going to be able to notice, like, oh, interesting. Like, you're going to catch things so much earlier that are probably going to move from like big things out there that are maybe like a billboard or something like that. And they're going to even start moving. You're going to notice small things, emotional things, like, oh, I notice, like, oh, when I have a little bit of a bad day, or someone speaks to me in this way, like, oh, that I can tell that sets me off a little bit. Something that when you're in the beginning of recovery, you didn't even recognize, and would have been a pattern that then led you to a relapse. You're going to be catching these things
Yeah.
so much earlier.
You should be dialed in, and your sensitivity is
Yes.
higher. So
Yeah.
yep.
So you're catching things super early, and you're able to work through those, again, regulation, and your boundaries are going to change and shift and be more narrow, more specific, more like what it is that you specifically need at any given time. And that's, again, going to change your relapse prevention program.
Yep.
So, really fantastic. And as those things are shifting and changing, those are all really good signs. Like, hey, I'm doing a good job of maintenance, and I really am continuing to grow because I don't have the same boundaries, the same triggers, the same things that I had at the very beginning.
Yep. Exactly. And, we talk about how can you tell you're making progress? Well, we can call these quick success markers. So, for example, you have very clear bottom line and middle circle exits. So, if I'm struggling, I know what to do to get out of the struggle. Now, whether or not
Right.
I do it depends on different things, but you know what to do.
Yeah.
It's clear.
And you know what the bottom lines are that you
Yeah.
have, that these are
Yep.
the things that I'm definitely not going to do these things because they're going to quickly lead to other things. And then remembering your middle circle, if you remember what that is from our last episode, your middle circle are your slippery precursors.
Yep.
So this is what I do. These are the middle circle exits. When things start getting slippery, these are what I do.
Yep.
So that's a really important piece, because when you don't have those things, you're just kind of floundering, and just however the wind is going is where you're going to end up.
Yes.
So the second quick success marker that you can check on is your consistency.
Well,
you
yeah.
Consistently being honest,
Yep.
transparent, and accountable?
Yep. Consistently. And your partner is noticing this, and they're sharing, yeah, things are different. You're doing these things.
Right.
So don't just take your own word for, yeah, I'm pretty consistent with this. I'm doing great. Ask and get
Yes.
feedback.
I think a good one that fits in there with that consistency are those like trust discussions, right?
Yep.
If you're following through on those, if you're missing all these days or whatever, then I'm not really being consistent with, like, because part of that is, am I being honest? Am I being transparent and accountable, right? So that's a good marker of that as well.
Yep. And definitely, you should be regulating your emotions better. Your challenging feelings should not be leading to acting out.
Yeah.
Nearly as much, if at all. And this goes back to, we've talked about this affirmation many times, that we can relate to our thoughts and emotions in healthy ways. And that should be something that we're working on through this whole process. Something that would really trigger me, frustrate me, cause me to get angry or turn to acting out, or anything that's unproductive or less effective. I'm working on it, and I'm making progress.
Yeah. I can regulate myself better. Yeah. Great success marker. Okay. Our last quick success marker is that you're growing in empathy and connection and intimacy skills.
Yeah.
So if you are becoming more empathetic and you're working on that and people are noticing that, if you are connecting better, which often involves more vulnerability, right? More secure attachment, right? And if you are working on being able to have deeper intimacy, and that's not just sexuality, right? That's emotional intimacy as well. So,
Yes.
some really good quick success markers. So there you go.
There you go.
The CSAT task model recovery roadmap with our 8 tasks and some quick success markers.
So hopefully that's helpful. Next session, we're going to talk about the same kind of model, but for the partner.
Yeah.
After betrayal. So come
join
back.
us there.
See you then.
Thank you for listening to Two Therapists Talking. We look forward to sharing more conversations with you. Connect with us at twotherapisttalking.com or email podcast@twotherapisttalking.com. If you like what you're hearing, please get on and rate us and subscribe to the podcast.